sorry. I got sorry, me and con up in the do my I do
Well, welcome to Legal Matters, and thank you for joining us. Today, what are we going to be talking about? Today, we are going to be talking about cancellation of visa applications. And also, we are going to be looking at revocation of leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain. And we will also be looking at general grounds of refusal whilst applications are refused when submitted to the UK Border Agency, now known as United Kingdom Visa and Immigration. And also we'll be looking at general stuff. You know, we've had a lot of people to come into the country. As we all know, different cultures, different societies operate differently. There are certain behaviors that may be seen to be acceptable behavior in one country and may not be deemed to be so in another country. You know, like I said, we've had a lot of people to come over to the UK. It's also important that we also cover areas where maybe patterns of behaviors are expected to be different from what someone may be used to. And for me, I think it's important that we talk about that today. Someone may ask, why, you know, what does it got to do with an immigration? For me, it's important, and it's got everything to do with immigration, because you come to this country, if you don't know the law, if you don't know what is expected of you, you could end up doing stuff that could actually jeopardize your immigration status. It's for that reason that I think it's important that when we help people to come into the country, we also find a way to help them to assimilate. You know, assimilation is very, very important. Because you come to this country, if nobody teaches you about the sentiments, the culture, you could end up, you know, finding yourself in a place that you don't really want to be. Or because you had no one telling you, or at least teaching you, that this is what is expected in this society. So for me, it's very, very important that we also cover that as well. And let's see what again. So today, these are the main areas that we will be talking about. And I will give practical examples. You know, you give practical examples, some of the do's and some of the don'ts. Some of the stuff that we all need to stay away from. Many are times when people get their indefinite leave to remain. Sometimes, you know, if you are not careful, you might think that that is the end of it all. And as a result, people tend to sometimes, you know, get themselves into all sorts, and leading to revocation of their visas. Some people have, you know, struggled all the way. They've been able to get indefinite leave to remain, but one reason or the other, they face a threat of losing their indefinite leave to remain. Sometimes, like I said, lack of knowledge, or maybe not having someone maybe to guide them through the process, or perhaps to teach them how the process works, how the system works. They could end up, breaking the law. And consequences is that they could also end up losing their stay in the United Kingdom. So today we are going to be talking about circumstances and situations that could lead to individuals losing their right to stay in the United Kingdom. Giving practical examples, what's happening to some people, and the lessons that we can all learn from this situation. Like I said, as soon as you join us, try and share the program for us so that people can also benefit from it. As I speak to you, I'm also sharing the program. That is the reason why I am looking down. Because like I said, many a times people will call you halfway and say, look, I cannot get the program. So for me, it's very, very important. Ghana in the UK, thank you for accepting the invitation and sharing the program. May the anointing of God be with you guys and bless you for sharing the program and also, try to educate the masses in your own way. So today, like I said, I think I will start with some of the basic things that in this country sometimes people expect. Just basically general sort of information and just being polite, and some of the things that we must not and should not do. Like I said, different cultures expect different things, and as a result sometimes people will sort of deviate from social expectation. In this country they call it deviance. Deviance means deviating from expected social norms and social rules. By breaking them, it is not, or in most cases it may not be a criminal offense as such, but it can be deemed to be a deviant act. So those who have studied social science and social studies, criminology, you will see that there is a section, or there's a serious topic among criminologists called crime and deviance, where criminal conduct will be a contravention of the criminal code. Deviant act is not criminal per se, but it simply means deviating from social norms and social rules. Like I said, in this country or in the West, let's go through some lists that I came across that I think will be very, very beneficial to all our listeners. I will also encourage you, before I actually start the topic, because it's a wider topic, whether you have immigration problem or not, I think you ought to listen to this. So let's all do the best that we can. Let's share the program, and let's give ourselves about 2 minutes, because I'm going to use these 2 minutes to share the program. I do apologize, but I think it's very, very important that we share as much as we can, so that people will also be able to, if you like, benefit from it. So I beg you, give me one moment whilst I share the program to all our loved ones. I'm doing this because it's very, very important. This has got nothing to do with immigration per se. However, it's got everything to do with our daily lives, what we do, how we approach things, in our workplaces, in our churches, you name it. For me, it's crucial that we all learn these social rules and social norms. Sometimes we do it without realizing that the way we're going about business may offend people. We don't know about this stuff. And for me, if you don't know it, you can always learn. And the culture that we come from, unfortunately, it is what it is. You don't know these things because there are certain things that we perceive to be normal behavior. But in West, when you do such conduct or you act such certain way, some people think you are losing the plot, you are losing your head. And for that reason, I think it's important that we all learn this. I came across this, and some of it I actually had to, take it serious and, learn something out of it. because I was surprised myself. There are certain behaviors that I thought they were normal behavior. But then after going through this, I realized that, wow, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. So I thought, you know what, today, let's just come to this program and also share this with you. And I believe that by the time we finish this program, believe in me, you would have learned one or two. After that, we go to immigration and nationality. We're having a lot of time for it. So if that is why you are here, do not worry that we are treating something else and not about immigration. We will come to immigration, so do not go anywhere. Just keep sharing the program for us. Share it so that all your loved ones can also watch it live and colored from the studios of Fire Life Radio. This is Justice and Law Solicitors, Lawyer David Darko. Last week, the program was too much in Chi. I got text messages from, from non-Chi speakers. Some are not Ghanaians, so they haven't got a clue. And what the person said was that, she was still fascinated, to watch the program, to listen to the program, but she could not understand. And the only way she was able to make sense out of it is by reading the comments that people were making. So all those people who were making the comments, I thank you. Sometimes when you are doing the program and you are sitting here, it's also sometimes impossible to be able to read the comments. As you know, it's a live comment. So as soon as you make it and another person make it, it keeps shifting up. And sometimes it makes it so difficult for us to be able to, if you like, to talk, to refer to our notes, and also to be operating the machines at the same time. It's very, very tough. But we're doing the best that we can to bring you the best from Justice and Law Solicitors. So now, I've shared as much as I can. I'm still sharing. So when you join us, please also do the best that you can and share for us. Sometimes, they say sometimes. It does help me to be able to concentrate on the program. So I thank you all for those people who are sharing, who have shared, who are continuing to share, and those people who are about to share. Don't just be a listener of the program, but also be a partaker of the program. And you can only take part through your comments and also through sharing. So we thank you for that. What am I talking about? Now let's jump straight at it. Madam Judith Wilberforce, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Long time. Yeah, God bless. So that's the way it is. Let's see what we can do. Now, what was I talking about? I was talking about simple social rules that we all need to be aware of. And there are things that sometimes we do it without realizing that maybe we are out of, maybe what we're doing is not right. Maybe it's wrong. And it's things that we do. We do it without realizing its effect and its impact. So it's some social rules that may help you to assimilate into the Western society. So when I say Western society, I mean the United Kingdom. And maybe if you live in anywhere in the West, you ought to be aware of this. The reason is that it helps us to behave correctly when we go to certain places. Because like I say, if you just live within your community and you don't go out of your community, unfortunately, you can only know what you know from your community. So anytime that you are thrown out of your community, it becomes a problem because you didn't know how to behave, how to react to certain situations, and it may make you feel the odd one out. So all that I say is that it's very, very important that we all take something out of this. I'm not bringing this because I think I know it all. No, far from it. I'm only bringing it because for me, there was something in there that I took, So I believe by going through this list, there may be something in there that will also help you. Because in life, the only thing that is infinity is time and education. You can never, ever say that you have finished learning. Because life teaches, and therefore we can never stop learning. Nana Akosia Jankroma Oforiata the First, I salute you, good morning to you, and thank you for your support, and also for joining us. So let's go through these life experiences and what we call the social norms, and we can all learn something from it. We are all guilty of one of these things. I am, and I believe that we can all learn from it. Number one, don't call someone more than twice continuously. If they don't pick your phone call, it's important that you realize or you assume that a person is possibly attending to some serious business, and therefore the person will not be able to pick your telephone call. Why is it so important? Sometimes people may be in a meeting. They may forget to switch their phone off. Or they may be somewhere that they are not allowed to make or to pick phone calls. So as soon as you ring, the person may decide to catch you. If the person catch you, it does not mean that the person is being rude. It may well mean that the person is simply unable to answer your phone calls. So when you call someone and the person is unable to pick, there is a difference. There's a difference between unable to pick a phone call and the person not picking a phone call, you see? So for example, if you call me and for one reason or the other, I am unable to pick, I think it's important that you think positive rather than negative. I think it's important that you conclude or at least give the person the benefit of the doubt and say the person was unable to pick, rather than charging with allegations that I called Linda and Linda did not pick my phone call. By so doing, you are making a claim, allegations, and it does not help the relationship that you have with the person. The question is, who wants to be accused? I don't think anyone wants to be accused. So the best way to put this is perhaps to say, instead of saying that I called Linda, she didn't pick. That is a very, very strong allegation. I think the best thing to say is that I called Linda, she was unable to pick. It sounds the same, it feels the same, but there is a vast difference. The difference is one is allegation and one is being understanding, making a statement by not making accusation or by not making allegation. Since human nature, by nature, that is our makeup, once you get attacked, the natural thing for you to do is to defend yourself. And sometimes when you get accused and you defending yourself, what happens? It leads to a clash. And in some cases, it may lead to a breakdown in relationship. So it's very, very important that we learn this vital lesson of life. Sometimes we may call someone and we can see that the person is on the phone. The person is busy. But we won't stop ringing. Some people believe that by continuously ringing non-stop, whatever that you are doing is going to stop, and then you will then answer the phone call. You know, people have two options when someone is behaving that way. For me, that is unreasonable behavior. That is deviant. That is not respect. When someone does that, it's two outcomes. Either one, A, the receiver of the telephone call will switch off the phone. And when the person switch off the phone, the caller, are you able to call again? That is the question. Or the person, if possible, may drop everything that he's doing and answer that telephone call. And you would note that the individual may not welcome the phone call in a very nice way. So the morale of this in Western societies, in Western communities, is that it's just rude to be calling someone consistently within a very short period of time. Yes, it may be an emergency. It may be a critical situation. But you don't know what the person is attending to. You know, and like they say, life sometimes, you know, it's like the king's umbrella. It comes in different shapes and sizes. Whilst you may think that your burden is heavy, Mr. Beno Poku's burden may be the heaviest, because he who feels it knows it. So it's important, especially this telephone call business. Some people will ring relentlessly as if someone is dying. And it is not the right way. Because if you are fond of doing that, a time will come that it may be crucial. But the receiver will simply look at his phone and say, this person is just like that. I'm not going to answer because I'm doing A, B, C, D, E. So it's very, very important that we learn this first lesson. We are all guilty of this, because sometimes our mind is that the more we push, the more we will get our way. But sometimes the more you push, the more you go back to the key. So it's a lesson that I think we all have to maybe adjust to and look at our own situations and change the way we do things. Number 2, return money that you have borrowed, even before the person that you borrowed the money from ask for it. It shows your integrity and character. Same goes for umbrellas, pens, lunch boxes, and so on and so forth. If you borrow something from someone, don't wait for the person to come and ask you. As soon as possible, return it to the person so that when you go next time, they will give it to you. Because when you borrow and you don't pay, next time, the person will not show you respect. If you owe Lawyer Darko money and you have not paid, next time that you are in trouble and you call me, I will simply put down my phone, because nobody works for free. It's very, very, very important. If you owe anyone money, for the sake of the future, for the sake of others and humanity, just go and pay the person. Don't try to be too smart today, because tomorrow you could end up being the biggest fool. So when you borrow money, pay. If you borrow anything from anyone, give it back in the same condition and as fast as possible. It's very, very important. In this country, for example, you are cooking, you realize that you ran out of salt. You go and knock on the neighbor's door. The neighbor give you a plastic container containing salt. That you use it and bring up boys and you borrow it. As soon as you finish using it, you are still keeping it. Next time you go for sugar, the first thing is going to say, I've also run out of sugar. You say, oh, but do you have pepper? I have run out too. Do you have bread? I have run out too. Because you are going to be judged based on your past behavior. And therefore, it's very, very important in your dealings with anyone in this country. We must bear this in mind, especially those who have just come to the country. If you borrow your friend's trousers to go to a function, as soon as you come back, make sure that it's clean and give it back in the same state or the same condition, if not better. Because you mess it up, the next time, forget it. These are life lessons. Thirdly, never order the expensive dish on the menu when someone else is paying. I have seen so many people doing this. They go to restaurants, maybe their friends will volunteer to pay for the meal. As soon as their friend volunteer to pay for the meal, all of a sudden, their appetite goes up. Not only that, after that, they also want takeaway for the next day. This is something that we must never do. Also going to parties that people have been served. You go to a party, and if you are going to eat over there. Unless the host decide to give you takeaway. If the host do not offer, you must never ask. Because the host would have done everything on a budget. The number of people coming, and who is going to give takeaway to, and the number of people that is going to serve at the function, whether being a funeral or being a party. The fact that you are not paying for it, the fact that it's not coming from your pocket, does not mean you should be a killer and kill the food. So these are some of the basic principles that people watch, people look out for. And whether we like it or not, we all judge, rightly or wrongly. We judge people based on their behavior. And if you go to party and you start stealing food, that's all that people remember you of. People remember you. Oh, the lady, the man who came to the party and was just stealing food. People will simply just remember you because of that act. And I don't think anyone would want to be remembered for stealing food or perhaps to go for the killer meal, knowing that they are not paying. It does not show self-respect, and it does not show class or dignity. So it's something that we have to learn from. There are some people that you go to restaurants, as soon as you say, you know what, I will pay for it, all of a sudden the appetite goes up. They want to eat a confirm guinea fowl. They want to eat chicken, a cocoa. They want to eat cow. They want to eat anything on the menu, all because they are not paying for it. They would rather eat it and get sick because it's free food. It makes no sense, but people do it. I have seen people doing it, and I was shocked. I was surprised. Because for me, I think you should be reasonable. And you must never go for something that is going to kill the person's pocket. So that is what I got to say on the third point. The fourth point is don't ask awkward questions. Like, oh, so you are not married yet? Oh, don't you have kids? Oh, why have you not built a house in Ghana? Oh, why don't you drive? The question is, people have different priorities. The question that I ask, if I don't have a car, is that your business? Do you give me a lift to wherever I go? If I don't have a house, is that your business? Do I sleep in your house? And if I am not married, is that your business? Do I go out with your child? So these are awkward questions. They are very, very personal. It's something that we should restrain from asking people those questions because they are very, very sensitive questions, especially people who are facing barrenness. You don't know the person's situation. You don't know the person's circumstances. And you are going to go and ask such an awkward questions? Typical example is this week or last week, the Oscars. We all know what happened, or we have heard about what happened. And last week, I also talked about thinking with your head rather than thinking with your heart. Because every part of the body have got a role to play. The head is to think, the brain, and the heart is to have compassion and love. Don't use your heart to think. Once you use your heart to think, trust me, you're going to get into trouble. That's exactly what happened during the Oscars, where Chris Rock made a joke out of Will Smith, French Prince of Bel-Air, his wife. He made a joke because Prince Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith, his wife has got medical condition. That means he's having problems with her hair. And she decided to cut it off so that she got bald head rather than having bald patches. And during the Oscars, Chris Rock was making a presentation. And he made a joke that, you know, Jane, I love you. I cannot wait to see G.I. Joe Part 2. Those who have watched G.I. Joe will get a joke, because there was a female superhero who had shaven all her hair. So it was a bit of a joke. That is the way I saw it. However, Will Smith wasn't happy. He wanted to prove that he's a man. He loved his wife. So he went out there and slapped Chris Rock. Now the fury out there is not easy. Because of that, only yesterday or this morning, Will Smith had to resign from the Oscars. Because of that. Or because he was thinking with his heart. I don't know what he was trying to prove. You are doing something to impress your wife, to show that you are a man. Being a man does not mean being physical. And it was a very foolish act. When you know that what you are going to do was wrong, you claim that there is something called love. And love can make you do crazy things. No, you are stupid, you are crazy. Because every man is a master of his own destiny. Every man is a captain of his own ship. You cannot tell me the woman is making you do something that you don't want to do. What about your free will? Only a fool will say that my wife is making me do things. My husband is making me do things. Unless, of course, you want to do it yourself. I don't buy that. Because at the end of the day, every man has got the right to decide his own destiny. And we are in control of what we do. So you cannot say that someone made you do something if you don't want to do it. Unless the person put you under duress and make you do certain things without you having too much control over it. So it's very, very important. This is very typical example. So it's important that we don't ask awkward questions. 5, always open door for the person coming behind you. It's only polite that if you are taking the lead, you go into the door, or you open the door and someone is behind you, you just open it for the person. Not only that, it can also prevent accidents. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter whether you're a girl, you're a woman. It's only respect and polite that you are able to, if you like, open doors for people. If you open it, the person is behind you, just hold it for the person. And a simple thank you will not go amiss. Because very, very little things that we do are the very, very little things that open great doors for us. Also, if you take a taxi with a friend and she pays, try paying next time. It's very, very important. This country is very, very cold, but everyone is feeling the heat. Everyone is feeling the heat. Regardless of how cold it is, you will always feel the heat. Your brain is always pumping. Your heart is always thumping. It's not easy. That is Babylon. Everyone is under pressure. So if someone pays it, don't think that, oh, that is it. All the time, you will make sure that you are going to take liberties. The person pays today, pays tomorrow, you pay tomorrow. The person buy lunch today, pay tomorrow. If you don't want that situation, don't get into a taxi of someone who is going to pay. If you're not prepared to pay next time, let everyone get their own taxis. If someone offers you lunch and you know that you're not going to pay next time, don't take the lunch. Just tell the person that you are okay. Because whatever you take from someone in this society you are expected to pay back. And in some cases, people even pay back more than what they are given at any given scenario or any given time. So we need to be aware of this. Respect different shades of opinions. Remember, when it's 6 o'clock to you, it's probably 9 o'clock to someone. If you do sociology, they will give you a drawing. And that drawing, every time that you look at it, you see something different. Every time that you look at it, you see something different. So it shows that regardless of what the situation may be, the interpretation of the situation may be different. And therefore, you have to respect each other's opinion. No man is an island, and you are not better than anyone. No one is better than you, and therefore you have to respect everyone and anyone. So for me, if you call my office and you disrespect my secretary, you are disrespecting me. So that is my take. Because if I'm working with the secretary and I respect the secretary, and you call my office and you are disrespecting the secretary, all because she is not the lawyer or he is not the lawyer, and therefore you are going to talk to him or her anyhow, then I'm going to have a problem with you. And I've had problem with some people in the past, and I took my time and I went through with them. In the end, they thanked me for it, because the way they came across was rude. But to them, they thought it was not rude. You see, so therefore I had to listen to what they had to say, and I had to make them see from another person's point of view. Because sometimes when you are the receiver of the aggression, believe me, it's not nice. Sometimes when you are the giver of the microaggression, you don't see it, you don't feel it, because he who feels it knows it. So for me, it's very, very important that when we all see someone acting in a very, very nasty way, we point it out, no favors, regardless of what the person may be to us. Wrong is wrong, and we cannot defend what is wrong, regardless of who is doing the wrong and how he's doing it. As long as it is wrong, men have to be bold and confront the wrong and evils within our society. So that's what I say to them. Don't fear anyone. If the person is wrong, point it out, because that is the only way that society can succeed. If we sit there and we are scared of people, and even if they are doing some crazy stuff, because the fact that we are scared of them, we just follow them. Adolf Hitler, some of his right-hand men, they knew what he was doing was wrong, but they were scared of him. Nevertheless, they just carried it out. Go and watch the Nuremberg trial. Just go to YouTube and just put it in. Spend a bit of 1 hour and just watch it. It helps you as a person, and it helps you as a human being to learn. Because what is wrong is wrong. You have to be on the side of right. That is what I can say in that respect. Now, the next one is never interrupt people when they are talking. When someone is talking, allow the person to talk. And when the person finishes, you also talk. Or if you want to cut him, just say, sorry for one moment. Can I interrupt you for 1 minute? It shows class and it shows respect. Because someone may be saying something that you may think that maybe if you don't make your point, you will forget. Politely ask for the person's attention, or maybe permission, and then see what you need to say. Number 9, if you tease someone and they don't seem to enjoy it, stop it and never do it again. It encourages one to do more, and it shows how appreciative you are. Like they say, a joke is only funny if both parties laugh at the joke. So when you say something in your mind, you think it's a joke, it doesn't mean anything. The person does not show any interest in that joke. It means it must stop straight away. Because a joke is only a joke if both people laugh at it. But doing it without the person approving it, it's not a joke anymore. It can be perceived as bullying, harassment. So we need to watch out, especially in our workplaces. Saying thank you when someone does something for you is only polite, that you are telling the person that you appreciate it and that the person should do more. When you say thank you, that is it. But sometimes when you say thank you too much, it becomes a bit of questionable. So that is the reason why, Lawyer Darkon, I believe in one thank you. Once you say thank you, that's it. When you go home, don't bother picking up the phone to call me again to repeat the same thing. For me, it's a waste of time. And also, it makes me think, why are you thanking me so much? What was your perception about me? That you seem surprised that I've done this, that I've done that. I begin to question why you are doing it. Why you are calling me too many times. So, I mean, for some people too, if you thank them once and you don't pick up the phone and thank them again, it's a problem. But for me, once a person says thank you, that's it. You don't need to dwell on it. Because when you do things, I believe that you must do it from the heart. And even with that thank you, I'm still okay. As long as I know in my heart and in my mind that you appreciate it, that's what that I care about. So for example, you tell me that maybe you need a telephone, you appreciate it if you can get a phone. At the moment, you cannot get a phone because you are broke, and so on and so forth. And I have a spare phone and I give it to you. And for one reason or another, you did not say thank you. Why should I hold that against you? I will not bother to even to think about it. So for me, it's very, very important that even when people don't say thank you, as long as you know the type of person that you are dealing with, as long as you know the character of the person that you are dealing with, and for one reason or other, he did not open his mouth to say thank you at the spot, this is not something that you should bother, because thank yous are done in so many different ways. Some people will go out of their way to help you in another way. It's also indirect way of saying thank you. This country, no one has got time. So even if the person spend 1 hour of his time to attend your mother's funeral, the person spend 1 hour of his time to attend your child's christening, believe me, it's a way of the person also saying thank you for something that you have done for them. So thank you does not necessarily mean opening your mouth to say thank you. People say thank you in so many different ways. We call the non-verbal communication. So when you do something for someone, do not dwell on it. Let the person come forward and say thank you, one way or the other. Some people, some of us, when someone do not say thank you, all of a sudden we go on a rampage. We go on the assassination of the person's character. And then we start blaming the person or making all sorts of negative comments about the person, so that others may form bad opinion about such an individual, so that it will conform to the person's ideas and the person's notions and perception about the person in question, to reinforce the stereotype and the stigma that he's going around placing on the individual, so that he can get a justification. It's very, very, very important that when someone is doing that and the person come to you, challenge the person's views, so that the person will stop that nonsense. Some people are fond of doing that, and it's so bad. And they say you are as guilty as the person doing it if you remain silent. And therefore, wrong is wrong. If it's wrong, voice out and condemn it, so that the individual can change and do what is right. So it is for this reason that there is a saying: praise publicly and criticize privately. If you are going to say something about someone to the general public, If you're not going to praise the person, then don't criticize the person in public. If you want to criticize the person, get the person in private and do the criticism. So we say praise in public, criticize in private. It's very, very important that we learn this lesson called lessons of life. Also, commenting on someone's weight is also abominable. Be a man, being a woman. Weight is an issue for a lot of people. Some people have it in their minds that when you are lazy, you will get fat. When you are lazy, that is why you get fat. That people don't also realize that some people have medical condition. They don't eat, but yet they put on weight all the time. So for you to point fingers at someone and say you are fat or you are overweight and that kind of stuff, it is not polite. It kills the spirit of some people and it's not good. It's something that we should refrain from. Also, when someone shows you a photo on their phone, don't swipe left or right. You never know what is next. The person wants you to see what he's showing you, and therefore just look at that and give the phone back. Period. Because you swipe it left, you're going to see something that you don't expect. And it can lead to problems in your relationships and marriages, and so on and so forth. Also, if someone asks you that they've got a doctor's appointment, please don't ask the person, what is it for? It's very, very rude. And if the person wants to tell you, the person would have said, well, I'm going to my GP surgery because I've got rashes that needs to be treated. The person is voluntarily giving you that confidential and private information. It is not for you to demand and ask, what the person is suffering from. It's very, very, very rude. It's something that we must not do as long as we continue to live in the West. The best you can do for the person is that, oh, you're going to the doctor's appointment? Oh, I hope you are okay and I hope it goes well. That's all that you can do. That's all that you can say. Wish the person well and it will all be fine. So it's very, very important that okay, thank you very much. The message, I've got it. Okay, thank you. Asemo, Ajumawe, Edimpa. I mean, and reply the police here. It's emergency. Why? Okay, I've responded to the person. I got a bit distracted, but that's life. We move on. So, it's important that I lost my thought now. What was I saying? I said more. Okay. Okay. Yes. Someone going to the GP, all that you can do is to wish them the best. If you are going to comment on someone's weight, just say you look fantastic. If they want to talk about losing weight, they will talk about it. Don't criticize. Legalize it and I will advertise it. Don't criticize it. So that is how it is. Also, if this is what I'm saying, if you go to any place, respect is everything. Respect is everything. You go to someone's office, show respect to anyone that you come across, from head to toe, because they all are performing different functions, and without their input and without the role that they play, the place will not be able to function. Muhammad Ali once said, if you go to a restaurant or if you see someone being mean to the waiter and being nice to him because he's Muhammad Ali, he is very scared, or he's very, very scared of such individuals. Why? Because he knows that if he was a waiter, he'll be treated in the same disrespectful fashion. Bob Marley also once said, I get scared when you tell me that you love rain. Why? Because when it rains, you look for your umbrella. Bob Marley also once said, it scares me when you say you like the wind. Why? Because when the wind is blowing, you go for a cover. Bob Marley once said, it scares me when you say you love me and you say you love the rain. But yet, when it rains, you look for an umbrella to cover you. So what would then happen when you say you love me and I believe you? You will break me. So when someone comes to you and you are the boss and the person is hyping you up, the person is showing you respect, the person is showing you love, and the person is disrespecting the cleaner, the person is disrespecting the checkout assistant, the person is disrespecting the baker, the person is disrespecting the chef, filler, replenisher, and you are a manager of a shop, and the person is saluting you, and the person is showing you respect, and you think that is enough, you are kidding me, you are joking. The same person would disrespect you if it hadn't been for your position and your situation. So anyone who do disrespecting to any human being must be put right, must be told that such behavior is not acceptable. If someone is condemning his brother man and you give the person platform, you are as guilty as the person. If someone is condemning his sister and you are encouraging, directly or indirectly, you are as bad as the person doing the bad muffin, because you are directly or indirectly putting more fire or putting more flame into the fire. And by so doing, you are encouraging the person to continue to trash talk his brother man, his sister, and his, colleagues. And it does not help. So when someone is going wrong, we ought to tell the person straight up that this is not right, and therefore we must stop it. If a person is speaking directly to you and staring at their phone, it's not good. This country, they see it as a very rude gesture, that you are talking to someone and you are looking at your phone. It shows that the person is not important. You have better things to do, and therefore, basically, it shows no respect. So in this country, they see it as disrespect. So it's something that we must not do. Never give advice until you are asked. Nobody asks for your opinion. You try to poke your nose into people's business. It's something that is a no-no in this area, in this country. I remember there was a lady that died. And to be honest, I thought nothing about the person's death. It's not good to see someone die, but personally, I thought nothing because of comments that a person made. And I wasn't going to be hypocrite to say that now that he's dead, I'm going to show love. No. Show love to people when they are alive. When they are dead, it's too late and it's over. So pretense that we do after someone dies, sometimes it's unbelievable. Any dead person is a good man or a good person. Apart from Adolf Hitler and the devil, Satan, that up to now, people still think that they are bad people. But most of the time, people become angels all of a sudden after they are passing. Be good to people when they are dead. And therefore, if they pass, don't go and be hypocrite and try to be someone who is showing love to the dead rather than the living. So, don't ask for opinion or don't voice an opinion when you are not asked. When meeting someone after a long time, unless they want to talk about it, don't ask them their age and salary. How much they get, how old they are in Western culture is rude. Also, mind your business unless anything involves you directly. Just stay out of it. There are some people who think they are King Kongs. They want to fight people's fight. It's got nothing to do with them. They jump at it and they want to fight people's fight. Trust me, you end up, being the bad guy and the loser. So don't do it. Also, remove your sunglasses if you are talking to anyone in the street. It is a sign of respect. More so, eye contact is as important as your speech. Never talk about your riches in the midst of the poor. Me, my bobra, ujina oyeni enim, na utu enum. My bobra, my toka 10. My yesay. When you know, we are say, who dear. Edia bijawako. Sebio, se who was Casemia, Mrs. Abia, a yamisem. Enti kasa bebrebe no, aya yenye careful. Say ye jina nipem, na ye kasa bebre. Ana mi wo wei, ana me, ma ye saying, ana ma ye saying, na ma ye saying. Kwajonchi ka sembi. Ose se wo sika se on wo sika empo se on nasisimpa on chiribo. Regardless of how rich you are, one day you're gonna die. You're gonna go the same way, 6 foot under in a casket. Even if your casket is made of gold, you are still going to go in there 6 foot. What difference would that make? It's the same ground that we are going to go into. So sometimes, most of the time, we must not talk too much about our riches. And especially in the midst of the poor. Similarly, when you have children, and you know that someone is barren, someone doesn't have a child or children, and the person cannot have child or children, or the person is struggling to conceive, don't go and talk about children to that person, because it's not nice, and you put the person in a very awkward situation and position. I believe that what we've talked about today is a life lessons that we all have to learn. Someone will be watching and say that what does it got to do with immigration? It's got everything to do with immigration, because we have helped a lot of people to come to this country. If we don't help them to know the culture and also to assimilate, they're going to end up going to places, stepping on people's feet or toes, and it could land them in trouble. So for me, it's important, whilst we help people to come in, we should also be able to help people to understand the culture, how things work in this country, so that they can also assimilate easily and be able to be good citizens. We will take a commercial break. When we come back, we go to immigration. Don't go anywhere. Share the program for us.
Metaphor. Uyamanka wow wo dan papa bi e wo Ghana na. Enso enam no kra asanti no. Who send ya wo bet manisika. Say yesiesie wachi mawo. Enti na ye ne Paradise City. Ye did this beautiful ultramodern city. Abatema Community 25. Who standard executive, semi-executive quality buildings. Ye ne Paradise City. Ye wo homa. Esanse ye di abrochre aba Ghana ntino. Ye payment terms no so. Ada phone book penny self-finance and as a mortgage for Paradise City. Our telephone numbers is UK +447 908 475 802. Paradise City. Ye juma pa amagana yefe ankasa.
Onyada for how any say and a wooing. Justice and Law Solicitors said, Bomodiana brand and your mumedi home como, on bemau a futu, na say idea say to one more on bebout no to one more. And your immigration and answer nationality problems. Say your student application, family and dependent application. Say we pass it now kroma and now lawyer bino jina one name or court amount. Personal injury claims. Say your employment, landlord and tenant issue or housing issue. Family and divorce issues. Drafting legal document, will writing, renting and leasing shop, lease extension. Obina juicy canon persuade amount. And you near Kawakuma to him now how you know to a chat. But more than any justice and law solicitors for Nkasa. 07538969589. And I say 0207 738 5841. But more than Fred justice and law solicitors. Na ye kwanya ye be faso ye be wow. Obenwom Ewo, the Unit 35B Eurolink Business Center, 49 Efra Road, Brixton, SW21BZ. Like I said, we have Victoria Line to Bristol. Bus 2 3 37 415 432 689 and 690. Siwa St. Andrew's Church Pastor. Seba Emra Samudia Baby, here any justice and law solicitors. Miniaba, any mammy do for yet more duxi, and no baby, Miniaba, sorry, I'm what dim on complaining that who were to Sansana Mibra, with Fitani, or twinging, no pajanting, the card must city, there be Bierano, what and then they, Miamere, or storm, Wediniga, Mayre, and sorry, on pa, and Cassin and near her, and I said, no, we are Mreda, son of Papa, Nifia Contain, or no soon complaining that who were being ya, or sorry, on Pana, or fancy kind, or Kunufu, me, acrobat, Maduma May, me can use Name, active, Name, Coba, Tabiarano, a bram de Badam. Adias nanso men sorry dakro kranka se me hu ba bia me ya ne nyina gya se your secret awintasem eyadura e de boy ho ba ne nyina ni kowa mesha kuani eyadura wonomu a ebo nipadua no e ma osipi usita me kanfo ama o se wonso no kowa mesani bi na ba bua na aboa ni obusia na yare da ho eya nunum bi na obedia danse
wa UK obenya kwa mixture e wo Ghana Market, the Heart of Africa, ground floor, shop number 138 Church Road, Nisden, London. Obetini afre 07514 433 148 and as 07464 636 604.
Kowa mesha abusia amintase Miniaba, any mammy do for yet more duxi, and no baby, Miniaba, sorry, I'm what dim no quadu, on complaining that who were to Sansana Mibra, with Fitani, or twinging, no pajanting, the card must city, there be Bierano, what and then they, Miamere, or storm, Wediniga, Mayre, and sorry, on pa, and Cassin and near her, and I said, no, we are Mreda, son of Papa, Nifia Contain, or no soon complaining that who were being ya, or sorry, on Pana, no fancy kind, or Kunufu, me, acrobat, Maduma May, me can use Name, active, Name, Coba, Tabiarano, a bram de Badam. Adias nanso men sorry dakro kranka se me hu ba bia me ya ne nyina gya se your secret awintasem eyadura e de boy ho ba ne nyina ni kowa mesha kuani eyadura wonomu a ebo nipadua no e ma osipi usita me kanfo ama o se wonso no kowa mesani bi na ba bua na aboa ni obusia na yare da ho eya nunum bi na obedia danse
wa UK obenya kwa mixture e wo Ghana Market, the Heart of Africa, ground floor, shop number 138 Church Road, Nisden, London. Obetini afre 07514 433 148 and as 07464 636 604.
Kowa mesha abusia amintase
Kowa mixture na moti omo enkano. So today we are going to be looking at grounds of refusal and revocation of visas. Grounds for refusal and revocation of visas. I'm sure that everyone knows this music and also what this music talks about. It's with great sadden, it's sad, it's sad to see a lot of people losing their visas after completion of 2.5 years or 5 years or 5.5 years because of misunderstanding in their relationships. I played this song. It's called Abene Waha. I mean, it's very clear that some people will go into a relationship not because they want to put something into the relationship, but they go into a relationship. It's all about what they can get out of the relationship. And as a result, some people, after obtaining 2.5 years, they are having problems in renewing their visas, and there's a whole lot of allegations and counter allegations going on as to who is right and who is wrong. But as lawyers, we don't care about people's domestic affairs and people's domestic circumstances. All that we care is to do what we believe to be justice for any given situation and any given scenario. See, some people will only show interest in their children because they want their papers. That is a fact. Some people are like that. The only way that they will show interest in their own children is because they want papers. So they don't go in because the child is their child and therefore they want to stand up to responsibility as a parent. But instead, they're thinking about how to be able to regularize their stay in this country without being a parent to their own child. And Home Office have realized this, and as a result, most of their policies is also in there that they have the right to cancel or to curtail a visa if the individual circumstances has changed significantly since the grant of leave. Now, Home Office have grounds in which visas may be cancelled or may be curtailed. And the grounds include the following. 1. If the applicant makes false representation or submit false documents or false information or fails. You are live on Facebook. Do you want to talk? Okay, I'm doing live program, so I cannot answer at the moment, sir. Thank you. That is how it is. If you make false representation, you submit false documents, or you submit false information, or you fail to disclose relevant facts in support of your current leave, or where it is more likely than not, you are or have been involved in a sham marriage or sham civil partnership. When you make an application and any of this applies, Home Office have every right to refuse you. Why am I saying this? Because it does happen where sometimes Home Office may ask for a specific information. Some people may not have the information that the Home Office are specifically asking for, and therefore they feel that if they don't get that information, the application is going to be refused. And on that basis, they are forced, they decide to go and basically make up the evidence by making false documentation and then submitting it to the Home Office with the hope that the Home Office will not discover it. Let me tell you this, don't try it, because it's such a bad idea. This week, I had a situation where, I had to advise someone. And the person tells me that he's been in a relationship with his wife for 2 years. And I said, well, if you have been in a relationship for 2 years, Home Office will expect you to provide evidence of 2 years of relationship. Are you going to get it? The person said, well, how am I going to get it? I said, well, you claim that you have been in a relationship for 2 years, so prove it. If you can't prove it, the application refused. So the person started getting all crazy ideas. I said, don't do it, don't go there. Because for me, it's important that you explain to them why you cannot provide such and such and such. Because by so doing, the person will apply common sense and hopefully the person will be able to give it to you. Rather than forcing yourself to create what does not exist. You're going to force yourself, put yourself in a whole lot of trouble, and Home Office will see it and they will ban you for 10 years. Within 10 years, any application that you make, such an application may be refused. The submission of false documentation. If you are going through a lawyer, make sure that the lawyer is credible and credited. Because if you just go for anyone to do an application for you and they submit any fake false documentation on your behalf, it's in your name and therefore it's against your name. You're going to get it, not the individual. So it's very, very important that we understand these principles: false information and fake documentation. Do not send such things to the Home Office because it's going to mess up your life and also in the future. 2, failing to comply with conditions of your leave, including a failure to maintain or accommodate yourself and any dependents without recourse to public funds. I remember 2014-15, I did a case for this lady. All of a sudden she called me, "Oh, Lawyer Darko, because of my situation, my circumstances, I have to apply for public fund." I said, "Huh? But your application, your visa says that you are not allowed public funds. How did you do it?" "Oh, the social worker sent off the application and they granted it any sent off the application for the benefits and they granted it. It's not my fault. They should have checked before granting it." And I said, "Woman, you are going to get yourself into trouble. Because at the end of the day, yes, the social worker may have sent it. The social worker doesn't know the law. I.e., yes, social service, they also study law, but they don't study immigration law. So you ought to be very, very careful." When I said it, she did not listen to me and she kept the money. And the money was charter's credit. That is a very dangerous money to get. So straight away, I don't know what happened. At some point, the Home Office wrote to this person and said that we are aware that you are receiving charter's credit and child credit, and therefore your visa is cancelled. At that point, she called me crying on the phone, blah, 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 blah. I said, "Woman, there is nothing that I can do. I told you so." So that is how it is. In the end, she had to go and plead again to get another 2.5 years because Home Office cancelled her visa. And all the money that she has claimed, she had to return the money back. So one has to be very, very careful. There is nothing called free lunch in the Babylon. Nothing is free. That is the reason why when you eat someone else's lunch, you pay for it next time to equal it out. That is the way it is. So all that I say is public funds, if you're not entitled to it, don't go there. If you want to go for it, then of course there is a process and the procedures in place in which you can adapt and then go and make your claim. Now once the procedure in place, you can go for it. If the procedure is not in place, don't even try it. Don't bother and don't go there. That's what I can say in that respect. The next one is where you have also failed to comply with the conditions of your leave. For example, they have no work permitted and you are working. If you get caught, then once again, future applications, it can be refused straight away because of that. Also, if you have been granted visas such as student visa or work permit visa, and you don't attend the school or you don't go to the work that you are supposed to be attending, of course, this is a ground to refuse future applications and cancel your existing visas. So one have to be very, very careful. Especially you come with a work permit visa, normally it is linked to the employer that you are coming to work with. So if you are trying to be too clever and you start doing other jobs without permission, you are breaching the terms of your leave or your visa and you can find yourself in a pickle. So we've got to be aware of this as well. Also, next one, if you failed or you cease to meet the requirements under which you have been granted leave. This is where I'm talking about people with children who are British. Based on their children, they've been granted 2.5 years. As soon as they get to 2.5 years, they say, "You know what, I'm not going to support my son anymore. I don't care. I'm no longer with the mother. Why should I support my son and give the mother money? And the mother is going to use that money to cook for his boyfriend," and that kind of scenarios. So people sometimes get very, very cross about these things. But all that I say is this. If you have a visa with conditions, make sure that you comply with the conditions. Because if you don't, you can be kicked out, your visa can be cancelled, and future applications refused. You have been convicted of a criminal offense either in the United Kingdom, or you have a pending disposable, or you have a pending criminal case. Once again, it could lead to curtailment of your visa or refusal of your visa. Also, persistent offenders, criminal behaviors, once again, also could lead to the cancellation of your visa. So it's very, very important that when we are in this situation, 2.5 years, long residency, 5 years, and so on and so forth, we also behave ourselves, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself into this type of situation. Today is now 12:30. I'm going to end the program, and we will take phone calls. 1 o'clock sharp, I need to be somewhere else. I've got an emergency that I need to run. So I'm not going to be too long. Let's just play this song. Shading. Now, after in your phone lines into. What I can also say is that if you've been living here for nearly 20 years, you don't have sufficient evidence of residence, do not allow anyone to persuade you to do something unlawful. You have to make sure that every document that you are presenting are genuine, that it was issued by a genuine company, so that when you come to us and you are doing your application, we will do the best that we can with what we are given. But don't try it using fake documentation. That is also going to get you into trouble, and that will not be in your interest. Let's take this song. When we come back, we continue the program. We take some phone calls. Yes, the lines are now activated. If you want to call the show, the number is right there on the screen. It's 07538 969 589. Yes, 1 o'clock sharp. We're bringing the program to an end. So if you want to call, please do call now. Yes. What's up with the Mia Medi here pay? Yes, Sadia Kuma Pamame. Amasawa Hame. Yes. What's it say? Who's to be home China? Now, again, he said, yeah, on your baby Biara and from one man's side. The number is 07538 969 589. Yes, thank you for joining us. All right, our first caller, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Kwame, calling from London.
Kwame from London. What can we do for you today, Kwame?
Yes, lawyer. I'm calling on behalf of a friend.
Okay, fire away, Kwame.
Anything in any say, Madam for your friend Koku Mensa or issue be with human or say a potentially discrimination at work issue. And I was saying coming from now, make me far into a man and I just advise Ben or between the man.
A father or Kwame.
And just so you more baby, it's been almost 7 years. 6 years a year contracting, and then about 1 and something years a year permanent work. And department be over 10 be a support no. Or not, I know more than a cover up, you know. That means or a very experienced outside area. But a permanent position be a bit tall. And inside some be on no because already we catch department head say any time a vacancy be or interested in to represent or but position better department heads normally or more and now for form you know and to home. And the next time almost someone say on sign cover and cover up no say uncle na dentina tembia say moving cover they are mudi make up because when him say me experienced meet me yesterday edumano. Meanwhile you do time I was say one pro be permanently there. More kofa obia I mean me bedroom ho ejano and almost so less experienced than him. You know, and you know, one of the uncle. And to your sister say not doing say I mean feeling possibly because they are undermining him. Or no pay an or baby or ye jumano. And in terms of age, so now I say over 50. And your dreams be racism, any discrimination in terms of age.
Yeah. Age discrimination. Okay. Since then, has he taken any steps, any initiative to find out why position a young farmer?
That didn't happen, you know. Well, or catch your friend saying the immediate supervisor who is a group leader. I'm not catching, so don't worry. I mean, before me employ second person, you know, group leader can say, don't worry, be bar or the number cover them. So, meanwhile, be bar, you know, a month for now. And apart from that, I'll say, what letters also aqua shift manager. Shift manager not unresponded. Ushia, I mean, that's a Oko restaurant, a Jumam restaurant, and Ushia shift manager, no, or can say, okay, so, no, until later, or shift manager, and so, no, oh, my very, very busy, you know, later on, you get about what's it, no, and that is it.
Okay. What I will say is, the shift manager is trying to avoid, avoid him, and she doesn't want to basically get herself involved. Sometimes to build a strong case, you know, it is important that he follows it up, because you simply don't let it go or give up. I think because you need evidence, you see. As you are following it up and they are ignoring you, you are getting evidence. Because sometimes some people may do it what they call unconscious bias or unconscious racism, where they may be doing certain things that they might not even know that they are doing it, or they are not aware of it. You see the point? Or they may not perceive it as such. So I think it's very important for your friend, you know, the managers who did the interviewing, or, you know, the appropriate managers. Firstly, he must express his dissatisfaction and how he feel, you know, about the whole situation. Point it out as to why you believe that, or he believes that he was the right candidate for the job, and what is it that he did or did not do, so that it's a lesson care for him for next time. He should put it that way. Let them come up with something and contradict themselves, because now you'll be surprised if they have the intention of actually doing what your friend believe they've done. From their response, you can get something out of it. And when it comes to discrimination and racism, there is no bar. Anytime you can bring a claim against them. Discrimination is always difficult to prove, you see, and therefore it's important that you build your case before it comes to the crunch. Because whilst you are still there, ask them the hard questions. Don't even talk to them. Put it down in writing. You know, everything that has happened, that, okay, when the first job went, you assured me that when there is another vacancy, you will perhaps consider me. However, when this vacancy became available, I also applied for it. And I was hoping that you will stick to your words. And the fact that you know that I am capable of doing the job is for this reason that when there is a shortage, you send me over there to do the role that you advertise, but yet you did not employ me to do that role. So put it around the person's neck. And, you know, you'll be able to get more evidence. And if in the future you want to go down, you know, the route of maybe leaving the work and bringing a claim for constructive or unfair dismissal and discrimination, then the person will be able to do so. But it's important that you build the evidence, because the line manager or the immediate manager, she can come up with a very good excuse to say that, oh, she told you that let's do it another time, but he did not come back again. She's got too much workload and she forgot about it. And therefore she can defend herself in some way. But put you in writing that, you know, yes, because the thing is this, say any part that look at easy to basically to say that it never happened. But when you send an email and you have this evidence, you send an email to say that, hi, Gertrude, following our brief conversation on the 10th February in relation to my invitation to discuss A, B, C, D, E. You said that you were busy. Could you please, look at your diary and schedule a time so that we can meet, because this is really affecting me. I feel like you people, I feel like I'm not being valued in this organization, and it's important that I speak to someone. So you are laying down, if you like, you are laying down your case in a very, very subtle way, because 6 months along the line, 7 months along the line, you will pull all this evidence to support your claim. So it's very, very important that we build it up before you get
this is the case I was say later what trauma manager has no letter no. And definitely so sign control be ma obey ignore no be.
Okay, this is an assumption. You see, say Oko court, for example, what say what your letter command manager no, where you ignore. This country, the rule they say he who alleges must prove it. How do you prove say or ignore it? I happen once if it. Let's me about say Abian really fee. Entina penny for se kwase ahwa yintiaso miensa no. Utiaso one, was okay, Abian no dey by mistake. No tiaso two. Oh, and also by mistake. 10 times this way. Ain't me mistakes it also 3 times that. And nothing I didn't first one, no, you know so much that way ignore. But obey deny when it comes to the crunch. So you make a reference that following my letter of such and such, I'm disappointed that I did not hear from you or you have not taken any action. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. It's possible that you may have forgotten or perhaps you may have lost it. I'm attaching another copy to this email or to this letter for your urgent and kind consideration. And then you send it. Send you real film pass here, Kyle. And also swear. And also you real fee. And also pray. That's a nina will fear. And no, who will be a counsellor and my wasem yedi. Name you give the person ammunition to come up with an excuse to deflate the blame. So whilst pel penny and that's an over penny in term a chroma litigation a ye brebro near dear. So would your brebro not do the case, Massa? What is so the panacoma? Independent. That is what I would suggest the person does.
That's or letter no later on the friend say uncle meeting na any letter send be no why be serve as evidence and also it may be biana.
Local meeting there's always a secretary that take minutes. You can go to a meeting and take your own pen and paper. You are allowed to write your own notes. All these are evidence most of the time people are people rush to employment tribunal and they ask them, did you do this, did you do that, did you do that? A famous or no ankasa follow process linti. So already compensation 20,000 crown, 10,000 free so because ABR procedure be one follow na fe we did them and so na wakolususka afro be na kotako yin emfaso ni so and they very very important say can sema maninya watertight who build the case maninya watertight. So be who say you have been more than reasonable and my wasem yede. And that's what I suggest he does. Ebebo in the long run.
Okay.
I mean, it's up to him. You see, the reality is say, will be for constructive dismissal. And no, the incident this year, I was resign on the spot. My time bedema. You say the fact is say incident this year you were able to cope and deal with it. No, over the reason 3 months time basically and tasum. And for constructive dismissal normally sana ayana AC. Say incident this year immediate aftermath or say I've had enough. I cannot work with this company anymore. You have disrespected me and therefore I'm not getting the my side of the cake. Also, claims like constructive dismissal or unfair dismissal, you have to be working for the employer for at least 2 years. Until we're done for this situation, say unless you can't sell, also working under contract and I think when you're permanent, and when you're very careful.
And the permanent, you're very 1.5.
1.5. Until you can the one stick it to when you did 2 years, a more legal right rather than discrimination. That alone there is no time frame that you have to wait for someone to bring a claim. But if you work for 2 years, you go for different angles. You go for constructive dismissal, you go for unfair dismissal, you go for discrimination. So you are fighting from 3 angles. So you can only bring unfair discrimination. And discrimination is a bit difficult to prove. Most of the cases, unfortunately, do not succeed because you have to compare yourself to someone from different background. Was the person treated the same way? Because if they are employing someone, maybe that you feel that they are not supposed to employ, they could come up with all sorts of excuses to justify the entire rather than and say unya constructive dismissal and unfair dismissal attached to the discrimination. The discriminations claim the crown for whatever reason they were able to play their cards right and get away with it. Constructive or unfair dismissal will get them. Constructive dismissal is where you have been treated so bad that you have lost trust and confidence in them. So typical example, to command and crowd feel. Basically was snowball, who follow me up when few. All these are excuses who bring the claim. You yourself, you can base your case on. Case na say enipano fellow buyer yes ya to awesiso. No more force no man am na sensan paper bidding and kick on sensan bebre. Holiday pay they were no paying. Asem no na ye momona. Yes so case me there's a case ni kakra e ma ne bring a constructive unfair dismissal. A course so no was so see the winning case because constructive dismissal is whereby you have small complaint and you put it together. And therefore, a reasonable man, would any reasonable man see this as, unfair? If that is the case, boom, you succeed. But if you go for racial discrimination alone, sometimes it's so difficult to prove, and therefore, you can meet a judge, and the judge will say that, well, this is not discrimination. It's based on qualification, it's based on this, it's based on that, it's based on that. So every job will have a criteria. So, for example, maybe they may need someone who is maybe very fluent in English. So they can turn around to say that, well, he speaks English, but from our analysis, he's not that fluent, and therefore will not be able to fulfill category A or B of the job criteria. So sometimes they can come up with all sorts of excuses to justify those sort of micro discrimination and micro bias. However, if you're able to add something to it, at least regardless, you're going to succeed in some way. So for me, you have to start building the evidence. Once you see, say you are not being treated right, period. Once you have the evidence and you are going forward, you go with 3 claims in one. You have a chance of succeeding and getting, what do you call it? A case. Because the case that we did, we went for unlawful deduction of wages, unlawful deduction of holiday pay, constructive dismissal, mutual trust of breach and confidence. Because this is a case, there's no consultation. And I said, people see any, yes, a sign. Also, they all sign, no, a sign. Otherwise, you 2 hours, 5 hours, that is 6 hours, that is 7 hours. Or start the case, and before breaker say, own succeed, and so a court or succeed, because when you're to was here, as she shared in me. So, it's very, very important. And you drive a dream here. Name himself Ubinian to was and I become the right way. Now we drew the right way. Now I landed the right way. Now I succeeded. And we're not here. And right now things are being like that, sending emails. All these are evidence. One responder, the email is there to testify. Say, I'm passing who send the email one responder. So responder, you'll be saying, where is your answer? Because someone who is avoiding you is likely to not respond. But we should not think for the person. Let the person act that way, so that you can have something against the person, rather than for us to assume, as I say the basic, about the sana and what we're done for the case, Why? Okay, that's it.
Sure.
Yeah. So, opposite ofra, Usubeti, your friend number 0753-896-9589. You were Amway for so Amway product. We will say, lawyer, other than saying, white is we see a whiter and your friend Mr. Ishan Amway. And then the name of Chukomoka Krabi and send it to you number the way. It's you never go by your fan. Hello. Hi, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I'm Patrolling the Sena Casa Free.
Joe from Wembley, please.
Wembley.
Yes.
Nadine is saying.
Joe, please.
Joe, no Adana.
There we go. And now we see from TV or something.
What did you do, Joe?
Oh, my did
One came up with breakfast became what? I fed the clear. I fed the boom. First, and answer. Joy, uncle.
But you're not a question about labor issue. We run the designer being a union rep. No, I think I'm so much impressed about the answers you give, and I think I'm my big tips were. But I'm saying maybe back will be a shemukina. You say discrimination cases, no. Say, oh yeah, because you have to prove so much. Also, because he who alleges must prove. But me can we I'm a Ghanaian community and African community name say it might be pre or almost union. Try say you don't involve with them because say union no union no bet me attack then abroad because some of the things say be a colleague or your Bruno sometimes you need to make a say yeah we are say and I also the answers will not be forthcoming. But say union no get involved when you are mileage when you are leverage and with me I keys I successful and we are one. And I'm so much impressed about your evidence now, because we about what the cat and send me bring as you know, okay, say on fire evidence in Embra. And now, young girl, they don't keep evidence. It's one thing, one way we can do by keeping evidence. Yes, so, trust them now, manager now. But any email, so you have to me send it via email. 100 years. So, we don't want to union, so what me a copy with union also. Send a there will be that evidence based or union also monitor what is going on. A bema will manage and also when we say union they will treat it with respect and with any contempt and also in the same year, can say, 2 years, message say from now on send emails, now on gather evidence, na yes, a beboa, send a bear, baby, you must say, we only show an and more. And James said, Eluna, with the account, but me answer the question, but when I may be say, will be a worry, you want to say, 1st April 2012. Nothing or indefinite by 2022 they see, so worry you or qualify say or naturalization and this or train it be as your application in June 2012 and sana bakoye a naturalization which one the best. That's it.
I mean, thank you very much, Brad Joe from Wembley. The key for naturalization, and it said the general rule, and it said in order to pass the character test, you have to be here lawfully for 10 years if you have ever breached the immigration rules. And therefore, say, your application 1st of April 2022. You need to count backwards to 1st of April 2012. Nebusa who say, as at 1st of April 2012, not our visa now. Now, say we need visa. Was the Home Office aware? Say now we krumwa now with the application now continue our Home Office na. Amayama acknowledgement letter by way of certificate of application. Except with the you application abetumana. If that is the case now, then on technicality, you can make application for British citizenship. Then, Senowari yi 1st of April 2012. Now, Home Office enim se uwo kromwa Now one for application now course until 1st of April 2014 and no as we can Emma 2024 ever 1st of April 2024. And in short, you need to count from time a Home Office became aware, say, now we will crew one. I hope say it answers your question. Thank you. Also subet me afre number de jujumano and good line and go on. You'll be 2 minutes for 07538969589. Also bet me afre now or question be idea idea Sama. Let me take this opportunity. Now, among the atoms so no, we are idea ya chiacha omo Mr. Akwesi Obini. Mr. Akwesi Obiri, ya chiacha. Sasuna Cynthia Ofe Ado. Buaku, baby I will be a ya chiacha. Aha. Penifone kan ya adahu, ma yesa kokwa asenseno. Enso bumia, yankopon pa me ho bewo sana etie. Sasuna akoko hoi, odum nso a odine ni hwesoro. Ne dia ne se ode ni nyame ase. Enti da mu nyina wase ese da musmu di wafidie na to a Madam Scotland Christina Baden or Christiana Baden. Baby a obia ye chiachia. Nana Hima Teresa Sakwabia was also ye chiachia ene anope. Papa Kwame, good morning, good afternoon to you. Mr. Ishan, next week we do come. Let me say the family so cry. Aha, sanity. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, lawyer.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Nampache Frost and Akase Free.
I told me about my positive
Mammy Boatman Dawson, positive mother. Bibia Boko. Yanko Pandom, Yamoyapa.
And then the main seven, you know, and what the common. Your co-party. What's that? Yes, you send me an email to anybody who did bed 3-4 days. I'm saying. Now, you're treating the partner what you want to say. Will be swapped back. And I need to know what they call a china, one bread, china brown, but near you should be a young lawyer. And now, you can't so much with it. You're minimum. You're minimum see a chini pan. Who can be a near the appointment telephone so near you? As if you're kind, wait the end. But in the point of the kind, you're criticized. Now, we are the young Samako Kurana is the young woman. Lawyer. What about coming soon, you know, Mamma? Now, that is the summer woman, and one I will be framing what it are, Mammy, and Kasa. When you make Kasa mouth. Na kasa bebre no enye edu kusu edu kwama alo ya ukasa nso ankrofo tini ya bebo wa mani yo e kwa randa wutu kan sie nipa na suma e kurana obeti no ala the country
sasa de tie lumba say empimpim time empimpim do me
yes enti de bia me kasa ye kasa wanda sa ukasa bene akurana nipa beto wolande
yes
Obeti ada the country. Said no. And you know, I made more near you, ma. I bet Cassan said the day, what it. I made my son youngster. Of someone dinner. The bet you them in Mansion. I'm over to you. And you know, I made me issue and that's it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's it.
Program now, Wako Fabano. Adding. Now, when we also. When you are positive, such as the meaning I can do, and you are pretty day and the lawyer. So I only say, and never so maybe. And some Bible and damage.
Namero.
Very nice one. And to cut a lawyer with a massive degree.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
so yeah, that was CP. Mana mo from want me ngrom nyina no ye mo ne fast na ye nko ochiman ye chiachia baby a wo bia boss lady ba ko pe osisi ye chiachia happy birthday to you and me say afama soon ese o birthday na wa ni tua aso share de enye easy makwa ko fa ma san adwuma enye easy kura bi ko mu bu enso me de said ya ilumba kan ye no Yesu bibi ni abobonu ya anka beto kuma bi ama no. Adwuma mi ye eyowu adwuma enso so na adako eye me shebre. Nyankwansere enye de me pende se anka metan dan ho ama meti ahwe fom. Enso so no ni nyina na me shebre. Yes, usu betimi afre number ni 07538969589. Yemfa omo nipa to be free omo ntimi enwuram. Mesremu monfre sesia na memfa na yentimi enkoyenim. Joba nyame nipa ye chiachia. Loving Lion, yes, Loving Lion, baby, I will be good morning to you. We will be forever loving Jah. Madam Helena Pamford, Belfast, baby, I will be a chashal and the anope. Sasuna Nana Akosia Jankroma Ufuri Ata the first, baby, I will be a chiachia. Nana Tontinif, also baby, I will be a chiachia. Was a Mary and Fio, me ready fee, into a kaime, but as it be, and area made you Mujuma Amam. Hey, no for Suya, yes. The capital of Atadri, the one I ye free. Sanet ye chiachao, baby, I will be a abomuso for Eastern region, abomuso, Muinas ye chiachamo, you do some of the atoa, Moshe, Justice and Law Solicitors live on Facebook. It's most so ye chiachia muina. Sasuna contumre, a secret contumre, almost so ye chiachia, almost spinach, Muinas ye chiachia, Oliver Maxwell. Good morning to you. Also bless you as well. And Mr. Emmanuel Shen. Nene nesa kam no twem komo na time na biti me kakra. Enti next week e dey be din komo. Amwe for so adaroma. Se ohu se mesi te shan na che se amwe for na ye da omo ase. Aha, sana etie. Mr. Benjamin Opoku or silver ya no size. Also baby will be a ye chiachia. Any gidia wo de ma ye. Bibi besom bia so no aye enhira ama oni ofie fo nyinara obi aba yemfa no na fe yenkoyanim. Hello lawyer. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you. Number 1 e ka say
me dey the Big Adams is feel ready.
Big Adams long time bibi aboko there
lawyer bibi aboko
o so aso bi kan
ya friend na ya bo abaso every Saturday be on TV you see the prayer. So more money and we be out to fast and pay and raise.
Amen.
And share the horse this boat. The only mama boats in ready. So more they come on. Well, yeah, my son, how you say. Now you see nurse for B. UK Asian nurses if I was Senate here, still I want to see now Ukraine and Russia so
edaso wo hono wo ye nurse na opeso bakru mu a ebe ye adwuma under the work permit route no ubetimi. Now people also have to realize say enye Ghana for nkwa na apply. Nigeria for apply, Zimbabwe for apply, Philippines time for apply, Australia for apply. So many people are applying, and therefore the competition no tough.
Okay.
And therefore the amount recruitment agency a bit of too much influence and power. And instead of them chasing you, when I will be chasing and you have to be persistent. Because yes, I'm not just saying what's the other. You just have to keep pushing. There being a baby. So no. Why you serious? Open. Now with me, I am a waba because a bit maba, but any easy. Cause obi a rush. So more. Until I'm gonna basa.
Yo, I think we did medasi. Meko ama ubi so aba.
Yeah, that was it. Yes. And also betting your friend, your last caller, and your friend, we didn't run a year. 0753896959. I'm way, Nessa Kamombo Kasane, now tell me you're beating me, because we'll be an emergency, we are watching. Cecilia. And TSM economical D. Mano. And Timester will be next week. Yene Amway for the kitchen como. Now Amway, Omo product here, made a personally aboame pa, Egusua air boame, Omo mouthwash, Omo vitamins. A chromo city in this citriano. Unyini na do certain stage. I have vitamins, any nyanya yedina, MYA, vitamins ni nyina afrim enya organic enti ese wunya ye fe ne se vitamins bi na wo de substitute na ovri bi amu adaroma sese me sorry anopa bia no multivitamin gam bi wo na jack me de ba kwa hye manum na ma we ne sa na 1 or 2 bi na ma keka bom na just vitamin B12 ne vitamin C ne keka oni nyina vitamin C and the good na just ma bone wa before class I do come out of the house enti ni nyina no eboa enti em say ne kasa ya check akra na nyame e de next week e che ya ene be twetwe komo kakra na product omwo ne de product ne ye no ya twen ye nuanum bi adwena baso na omsoso etimi ayede akwa akonya bi na de edom de be you can't chile me, you're funny, we are in full BM. Hello. Good afternoon to you. Now, Pacho, did they say like as a friend?
Me Pacho, Medijan, me Casafree London.
John from London, Yonko.
Lawyer, me Pacho, because I'm business in the money, me the cracker.
Kind of.
Lawyer, me Pacho, Miniano, or yeah, only the 5 year application, 20 more, time number the film around September ending. And Pacho, we are only 2 months. We be here, but almost for interviews. Sometimes, we are not about so yet. The wife near Congo ni Tina also pay translator Congo top away Dutch French translator indeed. Or no more say Omunya Bimano. Into 1 moment one for first one. Second one is none of Obama's disabled child. Tomo fair not no yeah. Tomo say when the back on back back to them. The free ornament until Monkabia. And I mean, or they be our complaint, say, maybe, and I'm saying, maybe, once a month.
Okay. Simple. What they should do, they say, email not be send you an interview, a marriage interview email. They can send an email back to that email address and just put the subject chasing for marriage interview. And then on the email, it simply states what has happened and that you've been waiting for 1 year. You haven't heard from them, and also they haven't made a decision. This is affecting your family life. This is affecting, your this is affecting you, financially. Your husband is not working or your wife is not working, and you are struggling, and you have a disabled child, and this is not good on you. You are supposed to take a decision within 6 months. It's more than that, and what is happening is not acceptable. Can someone step up and do what is expected? If they call not 2 weeks, someone 5 Maya, and I said 28 days, someone 5 Maya, you can contact your MP, and the MP will be able to, make things move for you.
Okay. And
oh, no problem at all. And when Tina, Yetiwe, Fabanes, and San Juan Kakra. Why? Amen. No problem. Yes, Yedamasipa, for your continuous support. Ana de America no man is an island. Na anybody also who be home chile na bitinia na waboa no. Because obi nim echina asem, obi nim dashi asem. Na empenifo ho ana yewo obrempon. Enti no so obi ho chire na betimi aboa na linia boa no. Papa so yenyimu. Obi timi kasa ma papa eni me ho. Menye papa eni wo ho da. Because unim ada esbeba mfa so ama. This week obi be hu me. Na oni akro no mbesme bo ni din because mbesme bo mi ni din. O kan sempi na ehye me nkuran. E ma me hu se de meye no me nkoso na menye regardless of obstacles are ebeba mi way. Because on the need ye example or je obi papa bi papa wo ye na ne say oso oni akronsa e de number me office ama nyamnya dom enipa no ne bibia akoyi ama sesei enkrata wonya ayenti ene ni qualification no wo dada ana enkrata no ni binti no adane akoa e wo bi man so sesei ene me kenya kopon atra ne hyiemu ama ne niema e koso faster onu akra ye ne wanwa true that no wa fa ho aye nipa ne papa wo bebrebe all boy nipa no say nipa so be push it up into the social ladder enti ewiase de se wunua bi e wo forma anaso da forma so ne sane pagya no Se wuntimi mu ana mensere no very very important because obi nim obrimpon enhya ase enti se wo bu anu bi a papa yenye ntumu ebia be papa ne ebia nipa no situation bi owo mu nti na wontimi ambie na no mpo anka se thank you menka se nipa ne ebuni aye because unim ada nipa npa beda wase enti papa yenye ntumu menye papa so enu ho da because se nipa ni mpo enhyira wa obi a wote nchen etimi hyira wo nyankopon otwedi ampo kwa me ko akunyame a wo soro ono aso timi hyira wo ewo akwan pii so enti no ene loyadako justice and law ye de ensempa na bremo ye beko ama obi susu aba na de mu ebi aso so etimi akwa ye so person ohu ye ya ye number eye 0207 993 5976 obetimi afre ye mobile phone so eye 07538 969 589 eye Justice and Law Solicitors and the dwumadi ebremu bidi eye David Darko makoa mababeson menko na obi so enye die emra enti bibia mu no se hyewo hoden wate se nyankopon you know se nyankopon enwie wa odaseni enti ni enye wo hwe enti de woye bia no hyeden ewo bibia oyem na nyankopon ana enim emrepa na emrepa papa so ebeba debi yada mase next week ebese share bi
Familia,